Welcome to Martinis and Mentors, where real estate pros sip, share, and spill the strategies that actually work. I'm Yvonne Arnold, 40-year veteran realtor, business consultant, and your no BS guide to growing a real estate business that you love. So grab your favorite libation and let's dive in.
Will is a real estate marketing coach and former agent who used social media to go from flat broke to selling over 20 million a year in less than 18 months. I'm sure there's quite a few people that would like to be able to say that. Since then, he's taught thousands of real estate agents how to use simple content systems to generate more leads and grow their business. In 2025, Will's personal clientele and community of agents sold over $1 billion in real estate, and most of them are based and foundationed in social media. So I just think that I have always admired Will, respected Will, and wanted to be Will because he has so much knowledge I don't have, and I said I got to bring him here to you guys. So Will, here's the deal. We can all agree that systems don't matter if nobody knows what you do or if you exist. Yep. And so in this segment, what he's going to do is he's going to make it really simple in a structure so you know exactly how to create consistent marketing that leads to business. For many, many years, we all said social media and you're going to get somebody to actually reach out to you from in the middle of nowhere that you've never spoken to actually do a deal. It is happening every single day, multiple times a day now. And however, there is a strategy around it that Will is probably one of the best teachers I have ever learned from on how to make this stuff actually work. So Will, let's talk about visibility that actually converts.
Sounds like a plan. Yvonne, thanks so much for having me here. If anybody on the call knows me and maybe has seen me this week, I've been very under the weather the entire week. This is the first day back. I felt like I could actually talk. So if I cough or something on here, I've got my water next to me. I've got like Ricola's, just bear with me. I've been under the weather all week, but I wanted to make sure I showed up for you here today. And coming into this, I woke up this morning and I'll be honest, I had no presentation planned because there's so many different things to cover. And I was trying to condense it down into the amount of time that I have to make sure that everybody can walk away with here and understand that social media can be very simple. And hopefully in the next 20 minutes, I can show you an easy way to where you can generate leads in your business each and every week without going viral or dancing or doing any of the stupid, pardon my French, shit that you see people doing on social media nowadays. I am the anti-template, anti all of that type of person. So I want to ask you guys a question. Okay. I'll put together a presentation in the past 30 minutes or so, and it's going to be very simple. And I want to ask you guys this question. I want to see you in the chat, right? Does social media feel like it's overwhelming, confusing, or like it's a giant waste of time? If that's the case, give me a heck yes in the chat. Do you feel like it's overwhelming, you're confused, or it's a total waste of time? All of the above. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Yeah, heck yes, heck yes. I see some familiar names in here. Yes. And you know what? You're all correct. It is overwhelming. It can be confusing, and it can feel like a waste of time if you don't have the right process, strategy, and procedure to go along with it. Okay. Now, I am of the camp that we are in a time of information overload. There is so many coaches and trainers and so much social media content out there that you have a bazillion ideas. We're not for a lack of ideas. We're for a lack of execution because there's too many ideas and we don't know which one's going to work. Right? You don't know which one's going to work. And we all have the shiny object syndrome. Seems like somebody's got a new magic AI prompt every single day that's going to blow up your content strategy. If anybody's seen that, let me know in the chat. If you're tired of all of the AI prompts to blow up your content strategy that everybody's talking about, say down with AI in the chat, because there's so much information out there and there's so many voices that we really have to simplify our approach. Okay. I call it down with AI. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if anybody's heard the phrase KISS before. A lot of it's keep it simple, stupid. I actually prefer keep it stupid simple. Some of these simplest content strategy out there are the ones that my clients are absolutely crushing with. And I kind of want to explain what the simplest content strategy is that I'm using with my clients. And yes, I ran a survey at the end of last year, and the clients that I worked with sold over $1 billion in real estate last year. $1 billion. I work with about 22 personal one-on-one clients right now. They sold over $500 million just in those 22 clients. Do the math on that. Okay. And then I have another 150 agents that are in my community that did another $500 to $600 million in sales. And a lot of this is rooted in these principles. Okay. Here's your simple one-page social media marketing plan that we're going to kind of cover here today. One type of content, one weekly lead strategy, and one daily engagement routine. That is it. It is no more complicated than that. Okay. So as we go through the rest of this, I want you to think about what's going to be your one type of content. More on that in a minute. We're going to go over a weekly lead strategy. Most of the time, people focus on posting to social media, but there's a problem when you just focus on posting to social media. That's your first inclination. If you're posting, but people don't know what to do next, there's no point in posting. You're just making noise. Everything I do is with strategy because social media is about conversations. And we all know in real estate, conversations lead to what? Let me know in the chat. Have you ever heard the phrase conversations lead to what? Let me see who the first person is. Sales. Exactly. Conversations lead to closings. Social media is about being social. And that's what we need to put back into being social. We need to create conversations on the platform. I don't care if you go viral. That's not what it's about. Okay. Now, here's just some of my clients that followed these strategies. So Roland, before he started using these strategies, he was selling around $8 million a year in California. Not a lot of money. Now he crossed $45 million a year. Shannon did $400,000 in GCI from social media and YouTube last year. Rick added another $10 million in production last year. Charmaine just had her best year ever, doing right around $25 million. And Isaac, in his first 3 years in real estate, yes, his first 3 years in real estate, doing one type of content with one weekly lead gen strategy, with one daily engagement routine. In his third year of real estate, he sold 80 houses. In your third year of real estate, could you say you sold 80 houses? If he can do it, anyone of you can do it too. Okay. Again, the whole point of social media is to create conversations. It's not to go viral. And it's not to be Insta famous. It's not so you get to speak on stage. Nobody cares. We want to sell more houses because we want to do what? Make more money. Let's be honest. Okay. So my 5C social media blueprint is how we go about creating a system that is going to be simple. Okay. So the first C, and you're going to notice that bottom C is yellow. Does everybody see that bottom C that is yellow? Let me know in the chat to make sure you guys can see that, right? That bottom C is yellow, and it's yellow for a reason, because it's the most important thing we're going to talk about. So you're probably like, well, why are we talking about these first four things? They're not the most important, because it helps set the stage for the most important part that we're going to get to. Okay. So the first C is the clients of who do you want to work with? I'm sure you've heard people say, who's your ideal client, right? When we're talking about ideal client, it's not necessarily ideal client. It's like, what is your niche? And I like to say your niche is never too small for the most part. So when you're trying to target an ideal client, this could be somebody looking in a particular location. It could be a certain client type. So the client type could be a first-time buyer, a first-time seller, somebody downsizing, somebody relocating. Somebody that only wants to purchase in a particular price point. They're looking between $1 and $1.5 million. Maybe they're only looking for waterfront property, only looking for condos. Maybe they have a certain situation, meaning they're an investor. They're looking for short-term rentals, right? And then you also have to decide, is it somebody you already know or somebody that you don't know? When you create your social media strategy, there's two types of people in this world. There's people you know and there's people that you don't know. There's no in between. You either know them or you don't know them. So when you create your strategy, you have to decide, what am I trying to do with my social? What's my goal? Is my goal to attract complete strangers, or is it to nurture my sphere? Most people say, well, it's a little bit of both. You really need to understand which one is the majority. Okay. Once it is, you have to answer the question of, what do you want to be known for? Think about that for a second. What do you want to be known for? When I say Yvonne, I think systems, I think profit, right? When I think of Kaylee now, I'm definitely going to think of Google Workspace, right? When I think of, let's do somebody else famous. When I think of Michael Jordan, what do I think of? One of the greatest basketball players of all time. That's what they're known for. So you as an agent, what do you want to be known for? Andrew, you might think of Jordan's shoes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, why not? So what do you want to be known for? You can't be everything to all people, because on the internet, you will absolutely disappear. Some of the best accounts out there focus on one particular client type, right? So there's an account I followed that is moms helping. I said, what is it? It's moms helping dads become better fathers, right? So it's helping their husbands become better fathers by doing these unique teaching routines, right? It's very, very, very specific. So in the real estate side of things, think about, what do you want to be known for? What is your niche? If you do not have one, you will not grow. Okay. The second one is content. So what type of content are you going to make? Now, there's this post-local content misconception, I like to call it. Who sees all the time that people are like, you've got to post local content, be hyper-local, post-local content. Let me see in the chat if you guys have seen that. Seen other people talk about post-local content, and you're like, what the hell do you mean local content? There's a giant misconception when it comes to that. Yes, all right, and now I'm seeing the yeses roll in. Post-local content. Okay, great. You know what? Who on here is a real estate agent? Yeah, every agent is posting new restaurants, businesses, etc. You know what? I don't want you to be a tour guide. I don't care if you know the latest hot coffee shop or the best events in town this weekend. You're a real estate agent. You don't posting local content doesn't mean you have to be a tour guide. Doesn't mean you have to be an influencer in your area. I'm honestly the anti-influencer in your area. You're a real estate expert. I think you should act like a real estate expert. Okay. So when you're picking your one thing for your content, you're going to find one format and you're going to repeat the crap out of it using my 80-20 rule. Okay. 80-20 rule. 80% of your content should be one type of content. You heard me correct. 80% of your content should be one type of content. Okay. Now, the number one types of content that is converting views into hand raisers into clients is absolutely home tours, done in a very particular way. The second is neighborhood tours. I think this is one of the biggest opportunities in 2026 because still far few agents don't do enough neighborhood content. Okay. Now, when I say pick one thing, find a format and repeat it, that means pick one type of content, and that is 80% of what you post on social media. Remember the one-page marketing plan? I said, pick one thing. The problem is we're trying to use templates from all of these online template shops and try all different types of content and be influencers with restaurants and all these things. We're real estate experts. You don't have to be a foodie to be successful on social media. One of my most successful content strategies when I was actively selling was doing neighborhood tours while I was riding a skateboard. And I called it Tours on Boards. I went around to different neighborhoods, specifically new construction in my town, target at $700,000 to $1 million in the price point. I would only do neighborhoods, and I did 2 to 3 minute tours of these neighborhoods and then made short home tour videos of the homes in those neighborhoods. That was my entire content strategy. All of the neighborhood tours were done the same way, the same exact format. And aren't you like, Will, isn't that going to be really boring for the audience? No, because you become identifiable. You need to find one format and own it. And you might be questioning yourself like, what is that format? What do you mean? I'm going to go off script right here, and I'm going to jump in and show you a few of the clients that I've been working with and what I mean by format. Okay. So I'm going to jump over. We're going to look at Isaac. I mentioned Isaac earlier. So this is going to be Isaac's format. I'm going to stop the screen really quickly. When you first start watching this video and people on social media and they're scrolling, you've got 1 second for them to decide if they know what your content is about, if they want to watch it. By looking at just the video slide, not the captions or anything else, what would you think this video is about? To me, it looks like it's a home in El Paso, Texas. It's got a gourmet kitchen. So I have relative confidence that this is going to be a tour of a house in El Paso that's got an awesome kitchen, right? If you start one of your videos or pieces of content, and in the first one frame, the first millisecond of the video, if you can't tell exactly what the video is about, you started wrong and it's not going to reach the right number of people. There's a reason his content reaches 10, 20, 30, 40,000 people, and he generates leads every single day because people know exactly what it is, and it's not a coffee shop. It's a house, and he sells houses, right? So this is what I mean by format. Now, I'm going to leave the volume off, but you're going to see he's doing a voiceover on this reel of this home tour, okay? All you see, there's a couple quick drone shots out front, and then he walks through the house, and he's doing a voiceover. You never see his face on the entire thing. Andrew, you're saying that's interesting. He has that kind of traffic in El Paso. How about 80 closings traffic, right? 50 buyers and 30 listings from only doing this type of content. That is it. This is the only thing that he does. He picked one content format. And the only thing we switch up, we just started recently 1 month ago. It's like, hey, let's get your face in the video because I truly believe in 2026, the more people are going to be able to recognize your face and recognize you and connect with you on social media by seeing not just hearing your voice, but seeing your face and being able to recognize your personality, the more trust you're going to build, right? Dang, that's a large share of the market. You're darn right it is, right? I've repeated this exact content strategy in markets all across the country, and everybody crushes with it. Okay. I just started this new in Chandler, Arizona with a guy named Ben. He just started it 2 months in. One of his videos went for 40,000 views and he had 200 people reach out to him for information on a listing. 200 leads from one video, but he stuck consistently just doing that one type of content for 2 months, and then it took off, and the rest is about to be history for him. This is what I mean by pick a format and stick to it. We're not varying from it. He's not sharing restaurants or things to do or place to go ice skating with your kids. He's a real estate agent selling real estate. And I feel like a lot of times we have that shiny object syndrome and get pulled away from being who we are. Real estate experts, neighborhood experts, we know the local area in terms of real estate, right? We don't have to know where every park is or all the events are and all that crap, right? If you want to, that's cool. There's some agents that do great with that, right? But I like to stick with what works. Okay. All right. Anyway, pardon my rant there. I hope you guys are okay with me ranting right there. We're going to get into some more stuff soon. Okay. The next part of your strategy when you line it out is, what is your posting cadence going to be? Okay. This is where I say the concept is become a TV show. And when I say become a TV show, I mean, if you're going to commit to posting 3 times a week, then post 3 times a week on the same day at the same time. If you're going to commit to once a week, same day, same time, every single week. No matter what platform you're on, they reward that consistency. They see, oh, he hasn't missed a day. He hasn't missed a week. She hasn't missed a day. She hasn't missed a week. They are always posting at the same time. They will push your content to more people if they see that you are a consistent creator. Okay. Maylin, you asked, what about the other 20% of the content? We're not going to worry about the other 20% right now. As you're first getting started, you're a 100 to 0 rule. One type of content only, and master it. And then you can start to filter in some other trial things. We can cover that later. Okay. Become a TV show, become that consistent. Okay. The 4th C is cash. Now, ads do give you leverage. And when I say ads, whether it's the Meta Ads Manager or it is simply boosting posts, but doing it the right way. There's a right way and a wrong way to do them. One of my clients who's in Houston, Texas, he also was a first year in real estate, and we decided to make his content strategy all around first-time buyers and new construction. So everything he did, we would show a new construction neighborhood, a new construction home in that neighborhood, and then while he was in that home, he would give a financing tip for first-time buyers. That was his content strategy. The format was the same every time. He was always in one location shooting these videos, and we put $20 a day behind every post that he made. His first year, his entire marketing budget was about $7,500. That's what the total cost was for the entire year. He sold 60 houses. The next year, he's like, Coach, I want to double my business. I said, great. Let's go to $40 a day. And he was like, really? And I was like, let's do it. We didn't change anything else. That next year, he sold 125 houses. Last year, he sold almost 350 houses in the Houston, Texas market by boosting posts. So if anybody tells you boosting is bad, They're wrong. You just have to have the right strategy. Boosting random posts won't do anything for you, but having a ad strategy around your content, especially if you have a new account or you have, let's say you have no traction and you want to get started, it's one of the easiest ways to leverage your content. All right, now conversion. This is the most important thing we're going to talk about because most people create a content strategy to get views and likes and go viral. I don't care about that. I care about conversions because the only thing we're trying to do on social media is get somebody to raise their hand, right? Raise their hand. And there's 3 ways to convert leads from social media: direct messages, lead magnets, and stories. These are in order of importance, okay? So for direct messages, there's cold versus warm. And what do I mean by that? Cold DMs are where you're reaching out to people who might have commented on another local post. That is spam. Do not do that. Warm DMs are when people reply to your stories. They might have commented on one of your posts and then you send them a DM. That's a warm DM. That's a great place to create conversation. I'll tell you more about how to do that in a minute. Lead magnets. If you don't have a lead magnet, you're doing social media wrong. You have to have a reason for people to reach out because right now you have a bunch of strangers and you have you. You have to build a bridge between what they're seeing and then you. What's the reason they're going to reach out to you? And it has to be your lead magnet. And then stories. You absolutely have to have a weekly story strategy. I'm going to share a step-by-step story strategy that my clients have been using recently. It's been crushing for them. Not just getting leads, but signing listings from a simple strategy that takes 5 minutes a day, 1 time a week. Okay. I'm going to give you a guide that has all the step-by-step instructions for it. So all of this, right? Conversion, it's all engagement, right? All we're trying to do on social media is create engagement. Even if you only post once per week. One of my clients, he makes 1 post per week and he closed $28 million in real estate last year, posting 52 times. 1 post per week because he spends his time in his stories, not curating content, just sharing behind the scenes moment, and then having one specific story strategy per week to identify hand raisers. Again, I'm going to share one of those strategies with you. So engagement. Remember, this is part of the daily engagement strategy. There's a concept, I call it the tide riser. Okay. Whenever someone engages with your content and you engage back, they get shown your content. Whoever you DM with is also shown your content. So what does that mean? If somebody likes or comments on your post, they are more likely to see your stories. If you DM with them, they are more likely to see your feed posts and your stories. Right? See where I'm going with this. The more people you interact with on the platform, those people are going to see your content next. So if you know somebody in your community and you follow them on whether it's Facebook or you follow them on Instagram or whatever platform, and you engage with one of their posts, the next time you post, the algorithm will send your post to them to look at. That is how it works. You cannot post and ghost. If you post and ghost, your content will not be as seen by as many people, right? So bonus, this doesn't require making content, right? This is just engaging. So what does that engagement look like? I'm going to give you an easy routine. Take your phones out. Get ready to take a little screenshot of this, okay? I have an Instagram strategy and a Facebook one. For Instagram, this is all you do. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes a day. You go to 10 stories, that's the stories at the top, and you engage with the stories, meaning you drop a comment. You like it, drop a comment, not say, that's cool. You want to ask a question. You want to create a conversation. Let's say you look at somebody's story and their kid scored the winning goal at a soccer game. It's like, oh, that's amazing. How's Johnny doing this season? That's a question. It starts a conversation. All that we're trying to do is create conversations. 10 direct messages. Anybody that liked or commented on any of your previous posts in the past 24 to 48 hours, you're going to send them a direct message. Engage with them. And then you're going to leave 10 comments on feed posts, SOI, local businesses, or ideal clients. Now, it looks like I'm running really low on time. I got a 2-minute warning. So I'm going to skip ahead and I want to share with you a strategy. It's what I call my story funnel starter kit. Story funnels will be the number one way to generate leads on either Facebook or Instagram or email in 2026. I'm going to try as quickly as possible to run through this strategy. I'm going to give you guys the link directly in the chat so you can copy this. There is a training video in this that walks you through exactly how to do it. It takes you about 10 minutes to watch. But the whole goal of this, who's ever heard of the I have a buyer letter? Let me know in the chat if you ever heard of the I have a buyer letter, right? So you send a letter out to a neighborhood. Yes. Okay. We're taking that concept. So what I'm doing is taking old school concepts and putting a new school spin on it. So you're going to take that same approach and you're going to create a story poll. I'm just going to show you the examples here. You add a story to your social media. It says, I have 2 buyers looking in this neighborhood or this city. Here's their last name. You don't have to give their last name. You can make it up. Here's their budget. Here's the type of house they're looking for. And here's the neighborhood. And then you're going to drop a poll and ask if they have heard of anything. Yes, but no, but I'm looking too. That is a easy response, direct response marketing play. Okay. Anybody that engages with the poll, hey, they might know of something, that's a potential listing. Or no, but I'm looking too, that's a potential buyer. Anybody that replies to the poll is a lead that you need to follow and DM with. Now, here's the beautiful thing. This is something you share to your Instagram stories and your Facebook stories, right? I've got 13 different ways to do this with 13 different messages. This is just one of the main ways that we've been using. There is a template in this document that I'm going to throw in the chat for you. It walks you through all the examples and how to do it. The beautiful part of this is now we can take it and turn it into a Facebook post. So we just do a simple text-based post to say, hey, friends, quick favor. I'm working with 2 buyers who want to move into city, and we're trying to find the right place before a new listing hits the market. I want to ask here first. Same information, drop your name. Simple Facebook post. You're not creating content. You're just copy, pasting, and filling this out. There's no picture, there's no image, there's no nothing. And then we send an email. The email is basically going to say the same thing. You're emailing your entire database, asking the same question. So what have we done? We took one concept and we shared it as a Instagram story, a Facebook post, and an email. One of my clients sent out this last week. He has, I think, about 1,500 people in his database. He said about 1,000 of them are crap leads. You know, people that registered from pay-per-click or something like that. Who has crap leads in their database? They have no clue where they came from. Almost everybody, right? Well, from that email going out, he had 2 people reply back. It's like, hey, I don't know anything in that area, but what would it take to get my home on the market next month? He signed 2 listing agreements last week. Had 2 people that were ready to go. He had no idea they were ready to go. But this email reminded them that he's active and he has buyers working with him. So this does 2 things, right? It lets people know that you're busy. Everybody's got a client looking for something, whether it's now or 6 months from now. This allows you to market yourself as busy and also show sellers that, hey, I've already got buyers that I'm working with that might be able to make a match here. Sign 2 listing agreements and has somebody under buyer agency and is already shopping with, because like, oh, that's right. I almost forgot to reach out to you. I'm about to start shopping. Let's get together. 3 clients from one email that took them 5 minutes to write. This is one strategy that you run in a week. Like I said, I've got 13 different ones. So you can run these one strategy a week for 3 months, repeat. You never have to think about how to generate leads again. There's a bunch of facts in here. I know I'm out of time. There's a whole training video that you guys can watch later. That's going to be, it's going to explain the entire process for you. It's super easy to create. This doesn't require you to create any content whatsoever. If you don't post it all, you can still do this in your story. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to throw it in the chat really quickly. You do not have to sign up. You don't have to give me your email address. This is a free link that you can bounce right to, nothing required. And also, I'm going to give you a second resource. If you're like, I don't know what to do with stories, I have a whole guide that shows you exactly what to do that includes a couple more of these lead gen strategies. I'm going to pop that in the chat as well. Do with that whatever you will. I was short on time. I could talk for hours on this, but I'm out of time. So back to you, Yvonne. You're on mute, Yvonne.
I could listen to you for hours. So I mean, there's so much there. And one of the challenges we all have as coaches and consultants and knowledge brokers is that we want to fire hose you with everything all at once. And we have to be careful around that. So all of the things that Will has shown you, his slide deck and the things that he's offering at no sign up, no nothing, he's putting in the chat. We also are going to include in the email with the recording and send it out to everybody as well with slide decks. So awesome. I have one question. Will, what is your strategy, this is all, we know it works. You have proven it. You've proven it with your clients. What's the one way that you would recommend getting it done and tying it to, again, a lot of this doesn't cost a lot of money. So when we talk about the money part of the triangle, $20 and they can join you and you can teach them how to do it, post it and boost it the right way. The organization part, a spreadsheet, a plan, a strategy through Google, whatever, and then calendaring. How do you recommend taking something and actually executing on it? One idea.
On executing one idea. All right. So one, it's getting really clear. I think my second slide was talking about it's a one-page social media marketing plan. You have to figure out, okay, what's the one type of content I'm going to make, and that's it. Right. And say, if it's going to be, am I going to be the neighborhood expert or I'm going to be the home tour expert? I'm just going to use those for example and say,
pick
okay,
one
that's
thing.
it.
Pick one
thing. And then schedule time in your calendar. You time block it every week. That's when I'm going to go execute that one thing for the week. For me, when I was doing it, I did it from Fridays from 9 to 12. I spent 3 hours every week executing my entire content strategy, and that was it. I wasn't doing it every day, but in my prospecting time in the morning, right, from 10 to 11, I would actually go on my computer and I would engage with people on Instagram and Facebook. And that was my entire routine. All I did was time block it. It was very simple. I used Google Calendar. I put a time block on there, and then I had a task list inside of my Google Workspace that I just checked off. And it was just rinse and repeat. The problem is success comes from the boring. It comes from the monotony. And the first couple of months I was using that strategy, it's like, man, I'm just doing the same thing all the time. Is anybody watching or enjoying this? And then lo and behold, like the business just started rolling in, and it just,
you know what I think when I hear that? I always think of, and I love cooking and I love food, and I think of the movie Julia and Julia. And if you watch the movie, it was about Julia Childs, and this gal Julie decides in New York she's going to cook out of Julia Child's cookbook every single recipe for 365 days, and she's going to blog about it. Back in the day when there was no video and all of that. And she says in the movie, I don't even know if anybody other than my mother is looking at these blogs. And it ended up becoming a full-blown movie that she was then paid for the screenplay and the book. So again, you never know who's watching.
It's funny. You say that. Yesterday, I got a call about 2:30 in the afternoon. I usually rarely answer my phone because I'm usually pretty busy. I was in between calls, and it was one of my clients. And his name was Christian. He's in Birmingham, Alabama, right? So not the sexiest place. It's not San Diego or LA or these other things. And he started doing this content strategy, a couple months ago, just following exactly what I said. And he was like, hey, I was in a listing. I was filming it for next week. And an agent walks in and is like, oh, there's Mr. Home Tour Kelly right there. And then the clients walk in. They're like, oh, my God, I follow you on TikTok. Like, you showed me this. And then another agent came in and said the same thing. Come to find out, the clients, they'd never seen this particular house that he did a video on. They already had an agent, but they saw his video, reached out to their agent. They bought the house because they never saw it on the MLS, and they were going to sell their house. But they said, we want Christian to come do our house for his TikTok. And he was requested to go do their house for their TikTok and put that out there. That house sold, and now they're going to be starting to send him referrals and stuff for their friends that are looking now, because he was the one that exposed them to all of this. So that reciprocity. Kathy,
there you
he's
go.
in your office. That's great.
I love that.
He's like, people are just seeing me. He goes, you never know it's working. And it's like people saying they're seeing their clients are seeing me. He goes, it's just a matter of time before they just start skipping their agents and coming straight to me. And you're absolutely right. Like, you have to be consistent. One of my first clients I tested this with, it was 6 months before he had somebody that wanted to work with him. I'm giving realistic expectation. It was 6 months of his consistent plan. But between 6 and 12 months, he picked up 367 leads and put 18 people under contract.
Wow.
At $1 million a piece.
Wow.
Because when you find people for the first time with that content strategy and you post 3, 4, 5 videos, nobody trusts you enough. You're not on the awareness consideration set. But if they go to your page, like, man, he's been posting like this for forever, you go from awareness to consideration.
That's right.
Right. And then they're following along on the journey. And then they follow along in the stories, and they go from awareness consideration to trust and outreach. Right. Because they follow along. It's that consistent play over time. So it's figure out what your strategy is going to be, stick to it, and blindly follow it. And just
it's on all of this. It's the money, it's the marketing, it's the operations. If you have to stick with something, you have to learn something. But I think all of us are basically telling everybody today, take it down to the simplest. Pick one thing. Will, thank you as always.
If you got value from today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a round of real talk and real estate wisdom. And if you're loving the show, leave a review. It helps more people like you find us. Until next time, keep shaking things up, stay profitable, and always remember, a great real estate business is like a great martini, well crafted, smooth, and best enjoyed with good company. Cheers.